Hey, Amy Posner here. I want to talk to you a little bit about 2021. Now, I am not a big goals person. I do not do goals workshops. It's not something that I coach. It's something that I do internally, but I don't know, I have my own weird way of doing it. I heard something years ago about targets rather than goals, where you picture like an archery target and there's, the concentric rings and, you do best when you hit the middle ring. But the idea with targets for goals is that, even if you don't hit the middle ring, if you hit the second outer ring or the third outer ring, you still have wins. So the idea is that you aim for the middle, you aim for the highest level of your target, but not hitting that exact target doesn't mean you lose. But one of the things that I do like to do, and I do like to do with coaching clients, is to think about your year in terms of two things. One is the amount of money that you want to make. So an actual dollar or euro or pounds or wherever you live, whatever denomination you think in, you have a number in mind that you'd like to hit. Then I like people to take a look at the possible ways they're going to get there. Like, what are your service offerings? And maybe you don't have any. Like, maybe you don't offer productized services. Maybe, all of your projects are custom one-offs. I mean, a lot of mine are, frankly. What it's really helpful to do, and this is especially if you're not sort of positioned exactly where you want to be in your career, if you're in that growing stage, and you're looking at what's next year going to be, or how will I make more money next year than I made this year, for example. So take a look at what your service offerings are, of the projects that you've done this year in 2020, which is okay, maybe we can't count anything as a baseline for 2020. But if you've been doing projects in 2020, which ones did you like? Why did you like them? What matters to you most? And so this is something to think about. And I firmly believe that every business has seasons, right? So some seasons are growth seasons. Some seasons are seasons to just continue doing what you're doing. Sometimes you're looking to change the type of client base you're working with. Sometimes your big goal that year is money, and you're less fussy about some of the other parameters, because what you want to do is make as much money as you can. Sometimes the money isn't the goal. It's let me get into something that I like doing better, and then scale up from there. So I encourage you to think about these two things. What's your financial goal? And what projects do you like doing? And so you can almost think of it. I think for most of us, we don't have one singular thing that we do. We have multiple things that we offer. But of those multiple things that you offer, which ones do you like best? And which ones are the most profitable for you? And so now, let's just take a round number. So say your goal is to make $100,000, and I'll use dollars because that's my currency, so it's easy to talk about and think about. So say you want to make $100,000, and you do 4 or 5 things. And what I mean by that, for example, for me, those 4 or 5 things might be writing sales pages, writing landing pages, writing marketing funnels, doing audits, and doing big picture strategy consulting. So what I would look at is how much money do I want in my my strategy consulting bucket? If that's something that I love doing, I look at what do I typically charge. So just say, for example, I charge $3,000. And I want to make $100,000, and I would like that to be half of my income. So that means that's approximately $50,000. So I divide my $3,000 into $50,000, and I see how many of those do I need to do in a year. And that would tell me how many of those I need to sell in a month. Now I look at another bucket and say that bucket is filled with a different service. Maybe it's a more expensive service. Maybe it's a sales page service that I offer at $12,500 or $7,500 for a shorter page, say, or $8,000. Now how many of those do I need? Now if I do $8,000 sales pages, and I want to make $100,000, I could do one a month, and I would end up with $96,000. So it's really good to know how much of, this gets a little bit into, sort of inventory and widgets, but how many widgets do you have to sell to make the income that you want to make? So what I encourage you to do is think about your financial goal. Think about what things, how you're going to fill those different buckets. And I think that the end of the year is a really good time to, like I said, reflect on what projects did you love? What didn't you love? What's important to you? I feel like for me that gets more refined every year. And it ends up being the type of client, the type of people they are, and their attitude toward their business and toward their marketing ends up being way more important to me than like the size of the company or the niche, as long as it's something that I can believe in and get behind. So start refining that for you for two reasons. One is to meet your financial goal. The other is to meet your financial goal inside of really enjoying your business, and it allows you to be deliberate. But I think the reverse engineering the financial goal with your offerings just helps clarify where the money is going to come from, but it can also really, really inform your marketing and prospecting, how you're going to bring that business in 2021. So I hope this is a helpful way to think about it. It's a little different. It feels a little more concrete than sort of like the big picture dream boardy kind of stuff, which, I've done many, many times. It's really, no offense to people for whom it works, it doesn't move me. And I guess you could fill a dream board with experiences. I'm not that motivated by material goods. I'm really motivated by travel, and that's not something I can fantasize about for 2021. So, if that works for you, more power to you. I know people for whom it works brilliantly. They do one every year. They're fun to make. I like making them, but they've never really done anything for me. So anyway, I hope this is feels to you maybe a little more practical and concrete, like it does to me. So I'd love to know what you think about the method and whether it works for you. So give me any feedback. Love to hear from you.